What's up, everybody? Welcome to Model Breakdown. This is where I talk entirely too long about one particular kit in question, be it a single model kit, a full-on squad, a vehicle, whatever. And what I do is I give you my overall thoughts and opinions on the kit, pointing out specific things, likes and dislikes, and so forth. From there, I'll give you a basic rundown on what I would do for building and painting said kit. I haven't done everything, but I've done enough that I can do a very basic foundation rundown of how I would approach it. And from there, you could springboard your ideas or use that to make your own foundation of ideas to do and so forth. And if you're newer to the hobby, sometimes some kits can look a little intimidating. So I'm here to tell you they're really not, as long as you just take your time. So that's what the basic ideas for building and painting are for. And then from there, I'm going to talk about whether or not I feel the kit needs a redo. And whether or not I think it does. If GW was to redo the kit tomorrow, what would I like to see and why? So with all that said, this should be a fun one because we're looking at orcs here, and we're looking at basically a brand new kit for orcs, the DeffKilla Wartrike. This is not a special character per se at all, although I'm guessing maybe there's a special character that could ride this. I don't know. I don't have the orc codex, but this is a really cool looking Wartrike bike concept for the orcs. And right off the bat, you're looking at it, it's got all the orcs aesthetics, and the aesthetic is obviously very much inspired by Mad Max. It always has been with orcs, I feel. When you look at their vehicles and whatnot, very Mad Max inspiration. I should say very Mad Max inspired to kind of talk a little better, right? But it's not a bad thing. I'm not calling it out as a bad thing. I think it works for the orcs. It always kind of has been a thing. People have always been saying that. People have made whole Mad Max style and theme and converted orc armies as the Mad Max greenskins, and that's great. And I like that GW isn't trying to shy from that. I don't know how you would with orcs when the aesthetic is so much set in stone for what they are, but they're really not shying away from it. The Speed Freak box, for example, is basically Mad Max Orc Edition version of the game. But anyways, really cool looking Wartrike overall. It has a ramshackle, looted appearance. The headlights in the front look like they're off of like Imperial vehicles. So that's just one example. It's got plenty of exhaust intakes. It's got a jet engine on it. It's all very orky. Looks like it can go very fast. Looks like it can actually move in a straight line at least, so that's a plus. You know, not that I'm looking for realism in my orcs in 40k. I'm just saying. And all in all, very intimidating looking, very spiky, very dangerous looking, both for those on it and those that will be attacked by it, which again is very orky. It's got a driver and a speed boss and a grot that puts chemicals into the fuel tank. Because why wouldn't you, right? So the one thing I'm a little confused about, and this is admittedly because I don't know the war gear setup for the Wartrike, is the twin stick booma, or the twin booma stick, or I forget exactly what it's called. It's twin boomstick. The driver's wielding one, and there's two strapped to the bike, and they're basically just twin boomsticks. There's even the handle and everything from the grab and pull the triggers and everything. So I'm assuming that just that they're aesthetically as if, you know, he's not reloading, he's just dropping the one he has and grabbing one off the side of the bike to continue shooting. I don't know. I don't know if they're meant to be shooting. War bikes have shooters that shoot off of them, so I don't know if those are strapped to the side and meant to shoot. I don't know, because I don't know the war gear setup for the Wartrike itself. It looks fine either way. I'll be a little disappointed if they don't shoot forward, because I feel like that is just something orcs would do. Strap some guns to the side to shoot forward, but if they're meant to just be something that the driver can grab and shoot, that's fine too. So that's my only confusion. My big dislike for this model, because I do enjoy it overall, but my big dislike is the Speed Boss's weapon. Now the Speed Boss has a grapple hook equipped Snagga Claw. I assume he launches the grappling hook at unwanting victims, and either it pulls them towards the bike to be ran over or beat up, or it helps careen the bike towards them. I don't know exactly how it works, but he has it on his claw. It's less the grappling hook and more so the claw itself. The claw itself looks very primitive, like snake bite orcs primitive, meaning like why would somebody on this massive jet engine equipped Wartrike have such a primitive and kind of weak looking claw? When I think claw, I think power claw, admittedly, and it doesn't call it a power claw, so I can't fault it for that. It's not calling it a power claw. It just looks very, I don't know. It just it's a little disappointing for the rest of the model. I would have expected him to have this power claw with a grappling hook equipped to it, just to feel that much more orky and killy and dangerous. But he literally just has chunks of metal strapped to, welded together on a pipe that he's holding to hack you with. It's very primitive, and I don't know. He's a speed boss. I would imagine something a little bit more impressive and scarier than that, personally. So that's the only thing I'm a little disappointed by. But I don't think it's a deal breaker necessarily. It's just, I think, the weakest part of the model. But everything else looks really good. The posing's great. The detail on the bike, or the trike, I should say, looks really good. So overall, it's not bad. I do enjoy it. It's just, I wish that the speed boss is kind of the centerpiece of the model, and to have his arm raised like that, like he's gonna do some deadly work, and then there's no scary hulking power claw, is a little disappointing for me. Anyways, cool model, definitely well done, definitely fits the bill. And with that said, it is a lot of pieces for what it is. So when you're looking at collecting this model and you want to build it up and paint it, you want to definitely dry fit things together. It's going to hopefully have instructions. I believe it would come with instructions. They usually do. And you want to follow those, at least look through it, read through it, follow it, and you want to dry fit. You want to just make sure everything you clipped off lines up like it's supposed to before you glue it. And considering the tires are 2 pieces, it looks like, per tire, at least for the rear tires, the tread, you want to make sure the tread lines up before you glue it too. That would be a little awkward to look at if it didn't. But I'm sure the pieces go together very nicely. They tend to with GW plastic kits. But even still, there's a lot of small pieces and detail bits on there. Dry fit, dry fit, dry fit. And when you dry fit it, you can use some poster tack to kind of hold it in place, so you can hold a dry fit piece next to another piece or whatever it is. Look at how difficult it will be to paint certain parts. You can definitely look at this guy and see like where the rider or the driver and the boss are. It'll be kind of difficult to get to the Wartrike itself to paint there. See what you can do sub-assembly wise. I'm a big fan of painting in sub-assemblies because it lets you get to all parts of the model, or a lot more of the model to paint up and have it just feel fully painted and not have an accidental no painted area show up because you thought it would be covered. So dry fit everything, follow the instructions, dry fit, dry fit, dry fit. And I highly suggest painting in sub-assemblies. If you can assemble the driver and the speed boss and maybe even the grot a little bit off of the bike, or the trike I should say, paint them separately, paint the track separately, glue them together. That's a good way to do it as well, I would feel. But for what it is, there's a lot of detailed bits and pieces when you look at the sprues. So it can look intimidating. Just follow the steps, dry fit before you commit to gluing anything, and then before you glue certain big pieces together, to see how they go together. Do you feel it's blocking too much detail? If it is, keep it separate, paint it up, then glue it together. That's just the way I would do it, and I think would be a good rule of thumb. But of course, do it how you want. That's just, I think, the safest way to go about it. So with that said, this is a little awkward because this is a brand new kit, and even though it's a brand new kit, I wouldn't say by virtue alone that means I wouldn't want to see a redo. But I don't think this kit needs a redo. It is brand new, so that helps. But the detail is good. The posing is really good. The overall aesthetic is top notch. I mean, it looks orky. It looks the part. It fits the bill. There's nothing really bad about it. My own disappointment is just my own personal taste for that claw. That's about it. So I really don't think they need to redo anything for this kit. But because it's part of the rambling. If GW decided, you know what, just kidding, we're going to redo this kit and give you a new one tomorrow, what I would like to see is maybe if those weapons on the side are meant to shoot, have them look like they're more meant to shoot than just be guns strapped to the side that the driver can pick up. If he's meant to pick it up, maybe kind of put them in a weird looking holster and cock them to it on an angle a little bit so it just feels more obvious that he's meant to pick them up and shoot them. That could be helpful there. There's no need to change the posing. I think everything looks great that way. I don't know, again, the rules for his claw, but rules aside, I would love to see him have a power claw. So that would be the only other thing I think that would be a nice change, is to see that claw look more power claw style and deadly and killy. But that's just a personal choice and for my tastes. Because really, there's not much they need to do to this kit really at all. I mean, it's fine. And of course, people will convert and kit bash it, I'm sure, in the future. So, good looking kit. Really can't complain about it, aside from personal aesthetic choices with the claw. I don't think it needs a redo. GW would never redo it, having just come out with it, at least not for a while. But if they did, the things I mentioned with those twin boomsticks for the driver and the claw would be my only things I think maybe they could take another look at. But really nice kit, very solid orc trike. If you're a speed freak, I think it's definitely worth having in your force, at least aesthetically a nice centerpiece. I'm sure it works pretty good too. Anyways, that's my take on the DeffKilla Wartrike. What do you think about it? What do you think about the Mad Max aesthetic that the orcs have had and just feels more and more embracing? I like it. I think it works for them. I think the DeffKilla Wartrike is a definite nice looking model, a good centerpiece figurehead model for a speed freak army for sure. And yeah, so share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks very much for sticking through it, and until next time, take it easy.